The weekly review is something I wish I would have found out about way earlier. In 2016, I started my first business. At that time, I was still a student, so I was juggling school, a student job, as well as trying to start this business. And well, having a weekly review would have definitely helped me keep on track. I've been using this technique for about 2 years now, and since then I've added things, removed things. I've had weekly reviews that took me hours, and then I would stop doing them after like 2 weeks. And well, the method I want to show you today is a method that I've been using for almost a year now, and I haven't changed anything, so it's working for me. The weekly review is about a lot more than just being productive. It's about taking a step back to observe last week, reflect on it, and then correct your course of action for next week. This is where I look back at the goals I set for myself last week, that I accomplished them, and I have 3 questions I ask myself. What went well? What went not so well? And the most important one, what I learned. There are obviously weeks where it'll be a lot harder to answer these questions, but I found that just taking the time to think about them makes me a lot more mindful during the following week, knowing that I'll have to answer these questions. So the first question, what went well? It's kind of a self-high five kind of section. It's where I think of what went well during the week. Maybe I accomplished my goals. Maybe I had a really good week at work. So my goals for last week were to hit the gym 4 times, and I wanted to start this YouTube channel. So I'm really proud that I did start this YouTube channel. I posted 2 videos. I'm really happy about that. I got a ton of ideas for next videos, and I'm having a lot of fun, so that's nice. I also had a really good week at work. It was a really busy week with a lot of meetings and a lot of stuff coming in because it was the last week of the month. But it was a really productive week, and I'm really happy about that. Then I asked myself what went not so well. The goal here is to see what could be improved for next week to set you up for a better week. I also try to think of solutions. So let's say your goal was to sleep 8 hours every day last week, and that didn't happen. You'll try to find solutions, like maybe you'll try to go to bed an hour earlier, read a book, you could close your devices earlier, stuff like that. One of my goals for last week was to go to the gym 4 times. I didn't, and the reason for that is just because I managed my time poorly. And that brings me to an important point. You don't want to use this section to beat yourself down. You really want to take an objective look at last week and see what could be improved for next week. So now that I know why I didn't go to the gym as much as I wanted to, I would try to think of a solution. And since this is my goal for next week as well, I'll talk about it later in the video. My final question is what I learned. This is probably the hardest question to answer. I think there's always something to learn, but it's kind of hard sometimes to find what it is. But that's one of the areas that I found that just thinking of it every week makes me a lot more mindful during the week, and I start to see more and more learning opportunities. So for myself, last week I learned that being in front of a camera like that alone, while strange, it's not as scary as I thought. I also learned that you just have to start. Setting my goals for next week is something I found to be really helpful. It really helps me stay on track for my larger goals. One of the key things I found for this section to really work is to limit yourself to like 3 or 5 goals. If you have a lot of goals, it'll be really hard to focus on every single one of them. I personally try to have not more than 3 goals. For this week, I have 2 goals only. I want to go to the gym 4 times, and I want to post 2 more videos on YouTube. Now that I have my goals, I try to think of what actions I need to take in order to make these goals happen. So for the 2 videos I want to post, what I'll do is I'll block some time off in my calendar to, well, script them, film them, edit them, and then I'll think of when I want to post them. For the gym, I know that last week didn't work because I managed my time poorly. So this week I'll focus on managing my time properly. And what that means for me is block time off in my calendar to know when I'll go and how long it will take. Since I have to go in the evening because I go with my girlfriend and she's at school all day long, I'll also plan my dinners because you don't want to go to the gym right after dinner. It won't be a fun session. Talking about blocking time in your calendar, that leads me to the last section, planning your week. So we'll do this for next week. So as I said, I wanted to post 2 videos. So I post my videos on Tuesdays and Fridays. Knowing this, I'll try to set some time aside for that. So on Sunday from like 10 to 11, we'll say write script and we'll film there. I know also that my lunchtime, I have an hour and I don't ever need that hour, so I usually spend time on YouTube there, trying to film those videos. And now for the gym, I said that was my priority for next week, so I want to set some time aside for that. There's usually not that many people from 8 to 9, so that's when I like to go. So I'll set aside 5 blocks. So yeah, for planning my week in my calendar, that's about it. I just plan my meetings. I set aside some time for my priorities. And yeah, that's really it. Now that you're all set up with your weekly review, check out this video that I made on how to beat procrastination. Hope you have a good day.